Hello and welcome back to Commit to Change with Crystal. Hi, I'm Crystal Saturday.
And Ryan Saturday.
And if you guys know, you've been following us along, we've lost together 150 pounds. And as we've been sharing our journey, we got some great comments from you guys asking for us to dive a little more into the details of how and why we lost the weight. And I think that what's important for us to look at is what would it take for your specific body to lose weight and help you understand a little bit more on the science side of how many calories it actually takes to operate your body, known as your BMR, and then what you need to do to get into a fat burning zone and, how long you can expect for it to take for you to lose weight. So I think right here on the whiteboard, we've written out some formulas that I think will help you with getting down to your specific information. So we've got the female base metabolic rate, also known as BMR. And this is what it takes for your body just to function, to operate your heart, your brain, to help you move and do just regular daily activities.
Right.
No additional exercise, no housework, nothing like that that actually takes extra calories to burn. The importance of this number is for you to know what actually your calorie needs are. If you eat below your BMR, this is where we can see people kind of stagnate out in their weight loss journey because you are getting your body to a point of calorie deficit that it has gotten used to and that it's not sustainable. So it's important to take this formula, which for females is different than men. That's 655. And then you're going to multiply that times 4.35 times your weight in pounds. And then we will add that to a formula of 4.7 times your height in inches and reduce it by 4.7 times your age in years. And this, of course, is for us here in the States. We use pounds and inches for our measurement, the metric system. But if you use imperial, or I might have gotten those swapped.
I forgot what it's called as well. Metric?
Do we use metrics?
I don't remember.
We need to go back.
We gotta go back to school.
But this is again for those that use, in pounds and inches. But if you weigh in kilograms or meters, then they're the metric system, and we're the imperial system. That's what it is. Anyway, back to it. So men, your formula is different and a little bit easier, in my opinion. 66 plus 6.23 times your weight in pounds, plus 12.7 times your height in inches, and then you reduce it by 6.8 times your age in years. Now, you guys follow the PEMDAS formula here where you do parentheses, exponentials, multiplication, then division, then addition, then subtraction. That is the order of operations to get the correct number. If you do it in the way it's written, you'll get kind of a wackadoo number.
Yeah. And something, if you're bad at math like me, I had to lean in on her. There are some calculators out there online. They may not be exactly right, but they're pretty good, and they'll give you the general range where you need to be.
And that's a good point, actually, to bring up that there are various different methods and formulas to calculate your BMR. And so it can vary just a little bit on each of those. But frankly, it's not enough to be panicked and thinking that you're lost. I would just find one and just have that as your marker, your baseline marker, and just kind of know, hey, look, at a minimum, I need to get 1,500 plus calories in just to operate my body. And so if you're on a diet and you're trying to lose weight, a lot of people out there will look at your BMR and do a calorie deficit. And I just think that's just detrimental to you because...
Yeah, well, it makes it... a few things are going to happen. You're certainly probably going to be catabolic, meaning you're going to eat muscle, right? Because your body has an order of operations as well. And breaking down muscle happens to be a pretty simple process. So it tends to go there pretty heavy. And so we definitely don't want that. And then the second thing is your body's super smart. So it lowers your metabolism to kind of match the cadence of the food, the amount of calories you're eating. So as hard as it is to understand, you really actually at least want to eat at your baseline calories, and you certainly want to find out what your calorie expenditure is for the day. So if you're an active mom, if you're an active dad, I mean, just going to work, let's be honest, being with the kids, it really doesn't matter. You're spending calories. So what is your true calorie spend for the day? How do we figure that out? Probably one of the best ways is an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
yeah, you can see how many calories you're burning, and then you know your base metabolic rate. Those two numbers are going to be your average.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about the Apple Watch, that it helps you to see your activity for the day and see when you've been more sedentary. But also on the total calorie burn that they're showing you, they show you what your BMR is, your calorie burn is included already in that number. So that's the great thing about it. And kind of to your point, that just to feed into our next item we want to cover here is that any additional movement that you do throughout the day helps add on to that BMR. And what that is, again, how many calories your body is burning.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to know that so we can know how many calories to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And, things like housework are, something that was astonishing to me to find out is housework and doing things like laundry, vacuuming, walking up and down the stairs, carrying your kids. Those are all called something that's NEAT, non-thermogenous exercise. And what that does is it actually adds onto this number. So just operating your body, going up the stairs, doing these things throughout the day, you probably burn more calories than you realize, and you can already have a calorie deficit there just eating at your BMR.
Right. So that's why it's important to figure this stuff out. It's not that we're trying to like make it complicated. You only have to figure these things out, a couple of times. Once in the beginning, once when your body starts adapting and changing, you see changes in your body. Clearly, I used to be 290. It looked different for me. It looks different for me at 220. My current weight, I went all the way down to 212. So that's another thing that we're going to kind of jump into is like, how do you accomplish getting this energy pool from your fat instead of your glycogen in your muscles and the food that you're consuming? So you want to hop into LISS and kind of explain that to
them? That's a really good one. So, we touched on our video yesterday about the limiting beliefs that you can have. And some of them that Ryan mentioned was that you feel like you have to go really hard in cardio or in like these high intensity workouts. And the ironic thing is those aren't the ones that are going to burn fat for you. Those are really intense on the body, and fat burning actually comes at a lower heart rate, but it has to be consistent. And so that is something known as LISS, or low intensity steady state cardio. Mm-hmm. And the way that you can find out if you are in that range, it's based on your heart rate, is you take the number 220, reduce it by your age, and then you multiply that result by 50 to 65%. So 0.5 or 0.65. And that gives you a range of what your heart rate should be at your age to actually be in the fat burning mode. Mm-hmm. And, that can change as you get a little bit older. As you can see, these items that are affected by pounds and your age, you do need to calculate as you have changes in those. Yeah. But, you'd be surprised at what it takes to get to this heart rate range. Like for me, in the beginning of my journey of walking, I, started power walking, and my range was about 120 beats per minute. And it only took like a good power walk to get up to that. And I would even have to kind of slow myself down sometimes because I'd be far, exceeding that. Mm-hmm. But I would stay in that range for, at least 3 miles, 45 minutes, often I'd go longer if the kids napped. But the important part is that you're in that range for a steady and consistent amount of time so that you give your body the chance to benefit from the workout. Some people have commented that it's hard for them to get to that range just walking. And so if you're not ready to jog or run yet, is you can do incline, walking up hills will get you that. I think, stairs.
The Stairmaster. And what most people you'll see use a lot is just the incline on the treadmill.
Yes.
So it has an incline function, obviously, as we all know. Put it at 4 to 6 range, mm-hmm. which it's pretty steep. It'll get you right there in that 120 to 140 range, which is for me what mine is. Yeah. That's the perfect fat burning zone. So when I see myself on my Apple Watch getting up, my heart rate getting up closer to that 140, that I could actually peel back a little bit. I could go a little bit easier, which is, kind of nice for me. Like I joked before, it's a jog. Like it's certainly not a full out jog. It's like one of those old people stutter step things. I'm just kind of a little bit. So point is that like that's that's the coolest part for me is when I realize that you'll see it quick too.
Yes.
Within a couple of weeks, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is working. You'll be all bought in.
Yeah, you gotta, that's a big thing is, again, committing to that. And I think that walking, especially if you can do it outside, has so many benefits of getting, vitamin D from the sun, getting, just fresh air, being around nature is all good for you. But if you can find an area like what we have where there's quite a few hills in the beginning of the workout, that's how you're getting to that, that heart rate that you need to get in the fat burning zone. So really focus on the intensity of the path you're taking, and a leisurely walk with your dog is not going to cut it. Honestly, I don't know many dogs.
It's a way to get your steps in, though.
Oh yes, totally. But to get the fat burning zone, dog walks are just going to have to be extra, and that's just the reality.
Good. Yeah, it's good. It's always good to get your steps in. I try to average 10,000. I miss it all the time.
Try to average, and that's but you keep aiming for it, and you don't give up just because you don't get it regularly. It's just a goal.
Right, exactly. So the other thing that we get asked about a lot is about the scale. So that's why we touched on that in the first videos, is we get the same questions, and we love it. We want to revisit these things because we think it's really important. It was a lot of aha moments for us. So the one big one, and I'm sure this is probably not news to anybody, but so there's 3,500 calories in a pound, right? So when we're talking about trying to lose a full pound of body fat, let's say if we were like in 350 calorie deficit per day, we know that's going to take us about 10 consistent days of doing that to get to our pound of fat loss. That's a pure pound of fat loss, by the way. But likewise, the bigger problem that we hear is people saying, I gained 2 pounds or 3 pounds overnight. So we touched on the whole carbohydrate and water thing yesterday in the video. So we won't revisit it here. But one of the things that we want to remind people is that if you're seeing large fluctuations inside of a day or two on the scale, it is not fat. It is glycogen stored in your muscle and water. I swear to you, it is. You have, at best, gained nominal fat in 2 days. And the reason is none of you are probably, if your BMR with Cisco, a flat number is 2,000, and then you burn 1,000 calories on top of that. If you work out, that will be between 300 and 500, and then your daily activity, let's call it 700. So if we're at 3,000 calories burned, you'd have to eat 6,500 calories that day.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds attainable. That's a lot of food.
Yeah, that is.
So much.
That is 3 full, large, extra large fast food
meals per day.
And
with Coca-Cola.
Which, I mean, honestly, I eat 2 of them a day. So I was eating in a large, I was eating 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day at some time.
I guess listen, is it possible that someone eats 7,000 calories a day? Yes, I guess.
But did you?
I don't know everybody's situation, but I'm guessing that you probably did, right? Because what we hear a lot is, I only eat 1,500 calories. How did I gain 2 pounds and stuff like that?
And you know what I mean? What was that in that 1,500 that you ate? How much of it was salt? Exactly. And then the bread literally is like a sponge. Like if you've ever had a plate of water and put a piece of bread on that, it will soak up, and that bread is heavy. That's exactly what's happening inside of your stomach. It's, like Ryan is saying, it's so important to kind of bring yourself back to reality, so to speak, of, did I eat 35 extra 100 calories yesterday, or was the items I ate,
sodium rich, enriched flour?
Yes.
Some of the things that make you, by the way, there's simple carbs and complex carbs, right? So simple carbs really break down fast. You do not retain as much water. Complex carbs are harder to break down for your body, and you do retain a little bit of water. And that is a lot of the fluctuation that you see each day.
Yeah.
That's why we really stress in the beginning, maybe don't lean in on the scale. It's just a data point.
Yes.
And then do the measurements. And I know that's going to be complicated for someone who doesn't have someone to do it for them. But maybe go visit a friend or anybody that can help you in this situation, because you don't have to do it very often. but it is a good way to actually measure what's going on in your body. Because remember, we should probably stress this. We're not trying to convince anybody of a weight loss only journey.
Correct.
We're trying to do something called body recomposition. The goal here is not for you to lose 50 pounds in 2 to 3 months.
Yeah, it's not, the goal's not to be smaller, it's to be stronger and
Well,
healthier.
smaller eventually, I guess.
Yeah, but not your smallest, I guess.
But you don't want to lose it too fast and have loose skin.
Yeah.
Right. Because we get asked that all the time. Like, how do you not have loose skin? And like we said in yesterday's video, I really attribute it to taking our time and doing body recomposition, which means you're building muscle and losing fat at the same time. Therefore, the scale probably not going to be the best place to judge your progress. Right. And then, another thing to think about is you didn't get big overnight.
Yeah, that is such a good point.
Or out of shape overnight, because maybe you're not big and you're just like in poor shape right now, but that didn't happen overnight. So as long as you realize that, like, I'm going to commit to 6 to 12 months, because everybody's journey looks a little different. I promise you, in that first year, you're going to nail it, and you're going to hit your goal because your body wants you to hit your goal. All you have to do is just follow some really simple, figure out some stuff in the beginning, apply some simple principles, and then take on the journey, and you will accomplish your goal. For sure.
I agree. All right, guys, thank you for joining us. And as always, if there's other topics you want us to cover, comment below with those. And we hope that you continue to join us as we share more about our journey, everything we've learned, and hopefully it can help you on yours. We'd love to hear how you commit to change. See you later.
Better game.